What's happening in the world of tech and innovation? It's moving at lightning speed, and here at Microsoft Sphere, we're bringing you the absolute must-know updates. Get ready for a rapid-fire rundown that you won't want to miss. We've got groundbreaking developments, critical alerts, and shifts that could redefine how we work and interact. Stay locked in, because the future isn't waiting, and neither are we. First up, we're diving into some serious internal shakeups at a major tech giant, exploring employee actions and company responses that are making waves. Then, we're shifting gears to the digital frontier, uncovering a sophisticated cyber threat that's targeting vital cloud infrastructure, and you'll want to know how it works and how to defend against it. Following that, get a glimpse into the evolving landscape of online advertising, as a search engine giant experiments with new ways to highlight sponsored content, potentially changing how we see search results. And finally, we're circling back to those internal matters, with more details emerging on employee conduct and corporate policy in the wake of significant events. It's all happening right now, and you're getting it first here. Don't go anywhere, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Internal upheaval rocks tech giant. In a significant development, a major technology company has taken decisive action, terminating the employment of 2 individuals following serious breaches of company policy and code of conduct. These actions stem from an incident where employees unlawfully entered the office of the company's president earlier this week. The protest, organized by a group known as No Azure for Apartheid, saw 7 current and former employees gain access to President Brad Smith's office. Their demands were clear: an end to Microsoft's direct and indirect support for Israel amidst its ongoing military operations in Gaza. The activist group has identified the terminated employees as Ricky Famely and Anna Haddle, stating their dismissal occurred after the protest. A spokesperson for Microsoft confirmed the terminations, emphasizing that the incidents involved unlawful break-ins at executive offices, which are inconsistent with the company's expectations for its workforce. Microsoft is currently conducting a thorough investigation into the matter and is cooperating fully with law enforcement agencies. Following the incident, President Brad Smith detailed that the protesters had not only blocked access to the office, but also planted listening devices disguised as phones and refused to leave until police intervention. The No Azure for Apartheid movement positions itself as a collective of Microsoft workers dedicated to ending the company's complicity in what they describe as Israeli apartheid and genocide. This situation echoes similar events in the tech industry, such as Google's termination of 28 employees last year for protesting labor conditions, and the company's contracts with the Israeli government and military. In that instance, some employees had also accessed the office of Google's cloud CEO. The protests highlight a growing tension between employee activism and corporate policy, particularly concerning geopolitical issues and the ethical implications of technology deployment. The group has been increasingly vocal, with previous actions including disruptions at Microsoft's Build Developer Conference and a 50th anniversary celebration. Reports indicate that a Microsoft director had alerted the FBI regarding these ongoing protests, underscoring the seriousness with which the company is treating the situation. The company's response, including the terminations and ongoing investigations, reflects a firm stance on maintaining internal order and adherence to its code of conduct, even in the face of employee dissent driven by deeply held beliefs. This incident raises broader questions about corporate responsibility, employee rights, and the intersection of technology and global conflict. The full impact of these events on employee morale and the company's public image remains to be seen as the situation continues to unfold. Stay with us as we delve into the intricate details of this unfolding situation. Next, we're uncovering a new and alarming cyber threat targeting cloud infrastructure. Cybersecurity Alert: Cloud Infrastructure Under Siege. Microsoft is sounding the alarm on a sophisticated and dangerous cybercriminal operation that is increasingly prioritizing the compromise of cloud infrastructure over traditional on-premise devices. This shift is driven by the cloud's inherent speed, efficiency, and potential for maximum disruption. The spotlight is on a financially motivated group, identified as Storm 501, which has demonstrated a strategic focus on hybrid cloud environments. Their modus operandi involves a multi-stage attack. Initially, they compromise on-premise Active Directory domains through the exploitation of domain trust relationships. Once inside, they leverage Entra Connect Sync servers to pivot their operations towards the cloud, infiltrating Microsoft Entra ID tenants. The critical vulnerability exploited is a non-human synced identity that possesses global administrator rights without the safeguard of multi-factor authentication, MFA. Gaining control of such an account grants them unfettered access to the entire cloud environment. This allows them to establish backdoors by creating malicious federated domains and abusing security assertion markup language, SAML tokens. The implications of compromising Azure in this manner are profound. Attackers can attain owner roles across subscriptions, meticulously map critical assets using tools like Azure Hound, exfiltrate vast quantities of data using utilities such as ascopy CLI, and systematically delete backups and storage resources through Azure operations. In some extreme cases, they have even been known to encrypt files by leveraging custom Azure Key Vault keys. The advantage of attacking cloud infrastructure directly, as opposed to on-premise systems, lies in the accelerated pace of data exfiltration and the enhanced capability to destroy backups, thereby crippling a victim's recovery efforts. Adding a chilling layer to these attacks, the perpetrators are also utilizing Microsoft Teams to directly communicate with their victims and issue ransom demands. Microsoft highlights that Storm 501 is adept at exploiting cloud-native capabilities, enabling rapid data exfiltration, destruction of data and backups, and ransom demands, all without the need for traditional malware deployment. To combat this escalating threat, Microsoft strongly advises organizations to implement robust security measures. Foremost among these is the enforcement of MFA for all users, with a particular emphasis on privileged accounts. Additionally, restricting the permissions of directory synchronization accounts, utilizing Trusted Platform Modules, TPM, on Entra Connect Sync servers, and applying Azure resource locks and immutability policies are crucial steps. Enabling Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and Defender for Cloud across all tenants, coupled with diligent monitoring via Azure Activity Logs and advanced hunting queries, is also recommended to detect and respond to such sophisticated attacks effectively. But the digital landscape is always evolving. What's next in how we find information online? We'll explore how search engines are changing the game for advertisers and users alike. Bing tests larger ad titles for enhanced visibility. In a move that could subtly reshape the search experience, Microsoft Advertising is currently testing the implementation of larger font sizes for sponsored ads within its Bing search results. The objective behind this experiment is to make the paid advertisements stand out more prominently from the organic, non-sponsored search listings. This potential shift was first observed and shared on X, formerly Twitter, by user Drew Cannon, who noted, "Are my eyes deceiving me, or is the Microsoft Advertising ad headline text larger than the last of the organic links on Bing?" His observation was confirmed by direct comparison, which indicated that the ad headline text is indeed approximately 5 pixels taller or wider than the final organic links displayed on the search results page. This adjustment, while seemingly minor, could have a significant impact on user perception and click-through rates for advertisements. The increased font size aims to capture user attention more effectively in a crowded digital space, potentially driving more traffic to advertised websites. However, it also raises questions about the transparency and fairness of search engine result pages. Some observers might view this as a way to subtly encourage users to click on paid links, blurring the lines between organic content and advertising. Others might see it as a natural evolution of online advertising, where platforms continuously experiment with formats to optimize performance for both advertisers and their own revenue streams. The effectiveness of this change will likely depend on how users react to the altered visual hierarchy. If it leads to a better user experience by making relevant ads more discoverable, it could be seen as a positive innovation. Conversely, if it's perceived as overly intrusive or misleading, it could lead to user frustration and a potential decline in trust. This testing by Microsoft Advertising is part of a broader trend in the digital marketing industry, where companies are constantly seeking new ways to improve ad visibility and engagement. As search engines become increasingly sophisticated, the methods used to integrate advertising into the user experience are also becoming more nuanced. Whether this particular change becomes a permanent feature on Bing will depend on the results of these ongoing tests and Microsoft's strategic decisions regarding its advertising platform. The outcome could influence how other search engines approach the presentation of sponsored content in the future, potentially setting a new standard for ad visibility in search results. We've covered internal actions and external threats. Now, let's revisit the employee situation with more specific details. Prepare for a deeper dive into the recent employee terminations and the context surrounding them. Microsoft terminates employees over office break-in during protest. Microsoft has officially terminated the employment of two software engineers, Ricky Famely and Anna Haddle, following their involvement in a break-in at President Brad Smith's office. The incident occurred on Tuesday at the company's Redmond headquarters during a protest organized by the activist group No Azure for Apartheid. The group stated that the terminations were a direct consequence of the employees' participation in the demonstration. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed the firings, describing the actions as serious breaches of company policies and the code of conduct, specifically labeling the events as unlawful break-ins at executive offices that violated workplace expectations. The protest saw a group of 7 individuals, including current and former Microsoft employees, along with other tech workers, enter Smith's office. They displayed banners and chanted slogans demanding that Microsoft cease its business ties with Israel, citing the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Notably, one banner renamed the office the My Ubaid building, in honor of a Palestinian software engineer from Gaza who was killed in an Israeli airstrike in 2023. Law enforcement was called to the scene, and 7 people were arrested, including the individuals who entered the office. The protest was reportedly live-streamed on Twitch, capturing the moment activists entered the executive office, prompting a temporary lockdown of the building. This incident is part of a series of increasingly bold actions by the activist group. Former Microsoft employees Abdo Mohammed and Hassam Nasser, previously dismissed for disrupting colleagues with loud devices, have been instrumental in organizing these protests, recruiting both current employees and external tech workers. In the hours following the arrests, President Brad Smith addressed the situation in an emergency press conference. He reiterated Microsoft's commitment to upholding human rights principles and contractual terms of service in the Middle East. Smith also mentioned an ongoing investigation initiated earlier in the month, following reports that Microsoft's Azure cloud platform was allegedly being used for the surveillance of Palestinians. While Microsoft stated in May that internal and external reviews found no evidence of its Azure and AI technology being used to harm Palestinian civilians in Gaza, the employee protests highlight persistent concerns. Bloomberg has characterized these actions as a small but persistent revolt by Microsoft employees over the past year, stemming from the company's business relationships with Israel. The No Azure for Apartheid group, named after Microsoft's cloud service, initially launched a petition demanding Microsoft end all Azure contracts with the Israeli military and government, disclose its ties, call for a ceasefire in Gaza, and protect pro-Palestinian speech. Anna Haddle had previously been arrested during protests at Microsoft's headquarters the previous week, where 20 individuals were detained after protesters established a liberated zone encampment and vandalized a Microsoft sign with red paint. The ongoing protests are fueled by reports suggesting that Israel's Unit 8200 utilized Microsoft Azure for storing Palestinian phone call recordings, and previous revelations indicated Microsoft's partnership with Israel's Defense Ministry for intelligence processing related to target selection. These events occur against the backdrop of the devastating conflict in Gaza, where reports indicate a significant number of Palestinian casualties. That wraps up our deep dive into the employee situation and the broader context. But the news cycle never stops, so join us next time for more critical updates. That's a wrap on today's essential updates. We saw 2 employees fired after a protest at Microsoft, a new cyber threat targeting cloud infrastructure, Bing testing larger ad titles, and more details on that employee disruption. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Microsoft Sphere for all your tech news, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Follow us on all social platforms for continuous updates. See you next time.